You two have got together, and here you are on stage at a fintech conference. Sandra, if I could begin by asking you, how did this partnership come about?
Well, we had an existing relationship for a few years, mainly on the gold sort of vaulting side of the business. But Vin and I actually met at the launch. And Vin, do you want to tell what happened?
Yeah, we had a joint launch event for our vaulting solution at the Tower of London. And we were introduced to one another because we were both talking about distributed ledger technology, and the piece which was very, very surprising to us both was that when we spoke, well, we're quite advanced in our thinking, and Sandra said the same, that they were quite advanced in their thinking. So, well, should we just get together and talk a little bit about the future? And the piece which was very exciting is that we bring complementary skill sets, and we had an existing relationship, and in this environment, I think there's a lot to be said about just getting together with people who you know and you trust and you can go forward with.
Well, let's get straight down to it and tell us a little bit about this new innovation that you've developed, Royal Mint Gold. Just what is it and what does it do?
Okay, RMG, or Royal Mint Gold, is really a easier, simpler and more cost-effective way to transact in gold. So as I sit here as representing the Royal Mint, we've been transacting in gold for over 1,000 years. But the way in which gold is transacted hasn't really changed that much in all the time. And what we're endeavoring to do is to give the consumers and the public an opportunity to really embrace the latest technology and the expertise of what the CME group bring to bear to allow people to have direct ownership in gold, and the physical gold which is transacted sits in our vault, and 1 RMG is equivalent to 1 gram of gold sitting in our vault.
This isn't the very first digitization, if you like, of gold. What makes it unique?
No, it isn't. There are other digital gold products out there, but the uniqueness of RMG is really lies in the fact that we are targeting basically institutional grade product level development as well as a network. So what does that mean? It means 2 institutions like ours coming together to say, look, we're going to build a next generation product that makes it not only easier and faster and cheaper to hold gold, but at an institutional level as well as at a retail level. And that is a pretty significant undertaking when you think about the fact that it's not just a new product, but actually an entire ledger technology we're building, a network that we're building on top of that.
You say easier, cheaper, and faster. Obviously, those things are key, but how do you do it? How come it's so cost effective?
So if I just look at the easier part, the fees actually are a lot more transparent. So one of the things that we've said is that we want to try and be as transparent as possible in all that we do. So there's no management fees, there's no ongoing storage costs. Effectively, the only time you pay a fee is when you transact. And again, those be very competitively based fees. So a good way of looking at it is that effectively, it's like pay as you go in mobile telephony. You only pay when you use. One of the things which is really great is that we clearly have expertise in the vaulting area and also the sourcing and trading of gold. And CME have 170 years of really bringing marketplaces to bear and having price transparency in those marketplaces. I think the only other piece, just in terms of when we say secure, it's the security of our vault.
Security is key,
so you've got physical security of our vault, but also distributed ledger technology and the expertise that our colleagues in CME bring to bear.
If I might just add on what Vin has said, which I absolutely agree with, I think there's the key message here around transparency. Not only is it cheaper, easier, and better to hold, but think about a world where you have pricing transparency on the front end because you've got a trading platform that will allow you to see buys and sells. So there's the pricing transparency. And then on the back end, you have a distributed ledger that will record direct ownership so that you know exactly how much RMGs you hold. And combine those 2 things, and what you have is transparency from end to end.
You, I think, have been running this for about a year now, since you guys got together. How far along the process are you? How near are you to a product coming to market?
To be fair, last week I was in Chicago with my boss, the Chief Executive of the Royal Mint. We met with the Chief Executive of the CME Group. A demo was given to us, and so we are very, very close. We've talked about launching in 2017. That's still very much the intention for us. And really exciting times.
It's a very fast turnaround time for two old institutions, if I may put it that way. We had Peter Randall on stage earlier today, who basically said that legacy companies like yours can't innovate. How do you prove him wrong? How do you say that actually companies like yours are able to bring something to market that's a bit different? Thank you. From sort of much younger tech companies that are supposed to be the only people who can really participate in this field.
Speaking on behalf of the Royal Mint, we've been around for 1,100 years, and to remain around for 1,100 years, we've needed to be innovative, we've needed to be relevant, and this is just the next part of that journey. It's one step, and again, it's with a great partner to get there. So while we're an old company, I don't think we should be necessarily believing that we're not innovative or we're not fast to market when the opportunities arise.
I think we demonstrate our ability to innovate by building, and this is exactly what we're doing. So we will have a real tradable product available to the market to show that obviously we are evolving and we're offering customers and clients, new and old, abilities to access, in this case particularly, digital gold.
When you talk about clients, are you talking about institutions rather than individuals?
So from a day one perspective, we are offering the trading platform to institutional level clients. For retail and consumers, like any of us here, we will offer access through intermediaries, so through a broker. But the platform itself will be open to institutions for day one.
And one of the things that we're inviting institutions and intermediaries to do is to come up and speak with us about being part of the opportunity that this allows.
Events like this, what kind of a part do they play in your innovations? I gather that you met at something similar to this.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, this time last year, I was sitting in the audience and made a number of really important connections which have helped us on our journey with CME and the CME Group. We continue to go around and meet other people at similar events. I've got to say, Innovate Finance UK for me is a favourite, and a big plug for you guys in terms of, it really resonated with the relevance of the people here and the absolute breadth of network that you could actually reach out to.
And if I may add to that, these types of conferences is also where we meet with fintech firms. We haven't announced who our fintech partners are in this very large project, but that will be information will be forthcoming. But without our fintech partners, and these are the startups that are out there doing incredible things, we wouldn't be where we are.
Mm. Absolutely.
How do you go about choosing partners? I love that we're here at a fintech, at extremely high-end blockchain and fintech, and my mic doesn't work. But I hope you can all hear me. I know it's coming and going, but I hope you can hear me a bit anyway. How do you go about choosing those fintech companies?
I wish I could say there's a formula where you just go through a list of questions and you spit out an algorithm and somehow an output comes. No. Actually, I think it's a combination of lots of conversations, and when you've got the right mix of people who are building the tech that you may or may not need, or that you may be looking for, and also the right combination of management team, vision, and also chemistry at some level, culture, shared culture, that's when magic starts happening.
So how big are you expecting this to become? I mean, where do you see this going in a year, if it's going to be launching in 2017? RMG is going to be something that is going to be how well known, how big? What are your forecasts?
To be honest, forecasts are forecasts, and as CFO, I would say that. In our press announcement, which we made at the end of last year, we were talking about an initial launch of up to $1 billion worth of RMGs. And quite frankly, it is as big as the market sees fit. At the end of the day, this is a complementary product to other products offered by the CME Group and also the Royal Mint. and it's, I think, hopefully going to take the world by storm.
Well, we wish you lots of luck with it. Vin and Sandra, thank you both very much indeed for coming and talking to us about it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.